And now, your official TigerBait postgame show with Mike Scarborough and Preston Guy starts now.
All right, we got a late start tonight. Followed a bunch of stories, a lot of post-game video, and what a night it was for the LSU football team and Jayden Daniels. And while you might think my headline for this post-game show was a little provocative, I don't think it is. And Brian Kelly made his case in the post-game as to why he thinks Jayden Daniels is the best football player in America. And I agree with everything he had to say in the post-game. Jayden Daniels, with an unbelievable performance, set an FBS record as far as a combination of running and passing. So we're going to discuss all that on tonight's show. Of course, we're brought to you by attorney Kenneth P. Haynes, Drip IV, Koala Insulation, and Spectre Arts. And we're going to mention all those guys tonight. And give us your thoughts, Preston.
Well, the numbers speak for themselves. It was absolutely a historic night. I did not think within 5 years of seeing Joe Burrow and the incredible season that he put together, we would have another season where, quite frankly, I'm looking up the record book quite as often as I have been with what Jayden has done this year. It's truly remarkable. 700 yards of offense. That's the most ever in Florida history that they've ever given up. So a little shot at the Gators there, but also Jayden Daniels, 606 yards of offense, not only the most in LSU history, topping Rohan Davies' 540 against Bama in 2001. It's also the most in SEC history, the only 600-yard performance in SEC history. His numbers have been remarkable. He's the only player in FBF history with 350 yards passing and 200 yards rushing. I mean, it's unreal. And you needed most of this because, of course, your defense stunk it up again with some awful performance, even some struggles on special teams. And it seemed like you just needed the offense to go out there and overwhelm them. And that's exactly what you did. In the second half, you got 5 of 5 touchdowns on your drives before taking a knee to end the game effectively. So
I just – reflecting on Jayden Daniels' career to this point, and of course, we know made it to Atlanta last year in the SEC West, had a better defense last year. And of course, he's made great strides since last season, no doubt about it, much like Joe Burrow did from 18 to 19. But really think about what the wins and losses might have been both last year and this year without Jayden Daniels.
I mean, LSU is without Jayden Daniels this year. And look, I tweeted out how many wins does LSU get this year without Jayden Daniels. I said 5, and that's full schedule, not up until this point. A lot of people were tweeting even less than that, 3 or 4, which, I mean, you're getting 3-0 non-conference, right? No matter who your quarterback is.
And Preston, that is the point as to why he should win the Heisman Trophy. His value to LSU is immeasurable.
Unbelievable. 4,084 yards of offense already, 38 touchdowns. It's truly something special what he's putting on. He has a very good chance to be second in SEC history for total touchdowns, which I believe is like 48, something like that. Bryce Young's 48. He's on pace to smash that. Man, I believe Jayden Daniels has cemented himself as the front runner for the Heisman Trophy. We'll see as polls and whatnot go out, but look around the country. One of the big things that stands out to me, so it's Michael Penix Jr., right? And then you got Bo Nix. Those two guys are going to split votes on the West Coast. Whenever they put out the Heisman ballot, they look at the voters and their geographical footprint, and it always is stunning to me how much bias is geographically tied into this. Then you got Marvin Harrison Jr. at Ohio State. That's a wide receiver guy. Jayden Daniels is it in the southeastern footprint of the United States. I think that a lot of people are really going to like Michael Penix Jr. and what he's doing, and of course being undefeated helps. You got Jordan Travis doing what he's doing, but you can't look at those guys' numbers. You can't look at Jordan Travis's numbers on
No,
paper and then compare it to
it's
Jayden.
not.
I think Jayden is in a much better position than a lot of people are gonna think he's in right now.
Absolutely. All right, guys, hit that like button if you're enjoying this post game show. Apologize for being late. I thought we got out of there pretty quick, even though that was a 6:37 kickoff. Obviously, with both teams passing the ball, that game ran late, didn't it? All right, let's see what we got here. Todd Davis, Jayden Daniels, the first player in FBS history to have 350 yards passing and 200 yards rushing. Absolutely mentioned at the top of the show. Big Cojones Kelly with a super chat, $5. Thank you so much for that, Big Cojones. That might need the BK targeting clip. I tried to clip it, but YouTube only lets me clip 60 seconds of it. I think he might have in his post game tonight. I won't be shocked if the SEC doesn't fine him for that. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think he went over it a little bit. And it might have been calculated. I think he's getting it.
I think he wanted it. I think he's tired of it, and this is back-to-back weeks. He wanted to send a message. I was joking with our friend Koki, who, of course, writes for USA Today, and in the old Glenn Gilbo spot. And I was like, man, he finally didn't chew your ass out in the press conference for once. And maybe that ass chewing is coming next week when he gets the fine for the question he asked.
Well, Scooter Hobbs got off the one that what did he say?
He opens up the press conference with, "Did Florida run a spy on Jayden?"
Mm-hmm.
And of course, that's throwing shade at last week because, the big knock on the LSU Alabama game plan was nobody ran a spy on Jalen Milroe. Look at the Burrow pick.
Yeah, thanks for that super chat again, Big Cojones. Artie Langs. In 2019, when Burrow would drop back to throw a pass, sometimes you would get a feeling that it was a touchdown before he even threw the ball. When Jayden starts to run, I get that same feeling. Phenomenal. Look, he had the 85-yard run, and I think the other one might have been even more impressive than the 85.
Yeah, the one where he really had to work his way out of the pocket. Yeah.
Yeah. And some of the throws tonight, he's just so good at reading defenses and seeing when they're trying to. Florida was obviously they were mixing things up. They were zoned a little bit, then they'd go man, and they just did not have an answer for him. I listened a little bit of Napier on the way home, and it took him a while, but he got around to being complimentary of Jayden Daniels. I don't know that I have to go back and listen if he even called him by name, but. I tell you what, I didn't like the cut of Florida's jib tonight, to use an old phrase. I thought that they were way too chippy, and I think maybe the refs should have probably gotten a better handle on that earlier in the football game.
My favorite part has been reading the Florida Twitter posts. Things like LSU ran 61 plays and they scored 52 points. That's
what is that?
Point per play.
Preston, what is that? Is that now 5 straight LSU over Florida?
Oh yeah, 5 straight. 11 out of 14 over Florida.
That is
and by the way, because of that streak, LSU has now taken the lead in the series. I believe it's 34, 33-2. LSU, man, if you had told me in the mid 90s,
that the series was really close in the 80s, and then the 90s under Spurrier,
and just
but what does that say about Florida's program where LSU's won 5 straight, and that's including the COVID year and the disastrous 21 season?
So I believe with that, I think LSU has a winning record against every team in the SEC except for Tennessee and Alabama in terms of overall series. So that's a pretty big deal. I mean, to be down 10+ game in a series, it seems like you're never going to get caught up. It takes a whole decade of winning just to get caught up. And that's just what LSU's done. 11 out of 14. That's wild.
Todd Davis, that was not targeting on Sam.
Total BS.
I don't know what they're going to do in the off season. I don't think Brian Kelly's the only coach in the SEC that's had enough of the way that's being interpreted. Fool on TV just put Bo Nix over Jayden Daniels. I don't know who that would be, but that
I
guy's
saw
totally.
Clay Travis was tweeting out that it's basically between Penix and Nix, and it's like, you're not really watching Jayden Daniels play, are you? I mean, he's phenomenal.
I think Clay Travis has a little bit too much on his plate. Maybe he's not watching as much sports as he used to.
Maybe he was watching the UFC match tonight.
Yeah. Yeah, buddy. Jay went from being a running quarterback last year to the total package this year. Amazing to see the difference in 1 year.
Did you see the super chat?
No, I didn't.
I'll get it after his comment. I didn't realize you were going to keep on going.
Kent Jones with a super chat. Thank you for that. If you have a comment, I don't see one, but I'll put there.
It is.
Here you go.
Yep. Forgot to add my message. LOL. It's crazy. We saw history tonight. Something that's never been done. Yeah.
It's just, I told Brian Lazar, I said, obviously sitting next to me, Preston's to my right, Brian's on my left in the press box. And I said, there's a big number of LSU fans who probably can't enjoy a game like tonight just because of how the defense plays each week. But if you're the standard fan of college football that lives out of state and is just tuning in and watching game after game on Saturday, LSU has got to be destination TV, right?
Oh, for sure.
I mean,
one thought
because of how fun the games are to watch, regardless of LSU's defense.
I talked to the Cheez-It Bowl people who, of course, do the Citrus Bowl and the Cheez-It Bowl, and they were excited with what they were seeing. The frustrating part about this particular LSU team, there's two things that are just incredibly mind-numbing. Number one is this offense is so special, and the fact that it gets paired with possibly the worst defense in LSU history. But second off, if this were 1 year later and we were talking about a 12-team playoff and LSU having a puncher shot at making it into 12 teams, I'm not saying they would, but it's on the table. Wouldn't LSU as a 12 seed or 11 seed be just absolutely terrifying in the playoff? You got to go face Jayden Daniels and try to stop him. And I know what the defense is, but sure, you're going to put up a ton of points, but man, to any team you're playing, LSU has to be absolutely terrifying. An expanded playoff would be very good for this team to have a shot. But the timing is just frustrating on both ends there.
Brian Smith, hey, Mike and Preston, do you think Logan Diggs will return for his senior year? Well, he was a grad transfer. I tend to think he's done after this year. I did see him on crutches tonight. I don't know what he's going to end up doing. Man, John Emery, keep me in your thoughts and prayers. That kid
looked like a nasty cut.
And as soon as I say, Josh Williams doesn't get into the end zone, they get stopped, goal line stand, and I'm sitting there saying that's why Caleb Jackson should be getting the ball. He should be playing more because he doesn't put the ball on the ground, and then he muffs a kickoff right after I say that.
By the way, Logan Diggs, this is his third year out of high school. He was a freshman in 2021, so he did not redshirt. Man, that's up in the air. Part of me wants to say that in the past, if you're, top 3 round pick guy, it's you're going pro. In the age of NIL and the ability to work your way up draft boards, part of me wonders if maybe he takes the money that's on the table next year with being able to use his brand and try to improve his draft stock. It's tough for a running back anyways. Even if you're a first round pick, it's really tough as a running back in the NFL. You have very short careers, not much money on the table. Maybe you extend the total amount of money on the table for you by spending more time in college, working your draft stock up, and in any sense of urgency if the player just, his parents are on a rough spot and needs to get going for next year, if you can make money in NIL, that's off the table. So we'll see.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that. BK is now undefeated against Napier.
Well, he's undefeated last year too.
Hal Jubin crying belly laugh. He's getting so fine. I'm glad he did that though. Yeah, so I'm not the only one because I'm sitting there like I'm back there in the back of the room. And I'm like, yeah, he's getting out his checkbook. He just crossed the line. And if he doesn't, then that shows that the SEC's maybe letting him slide a little bit. Riley Ortego, thank you for the super chat. And he says, happy birthday, Preston. Absolutely. Today's Preston's birthday. Happy birthday. That was one of the most insane performances I've ever seen. Also, I really enjoyed BK's post-game presser. He was great. Also, Scoop made me laugh.
Thank you, Riley. Riley's a former teammate of mine, so I appreciate the shout out from him. It was quite the show that Mr. Daniels put on for my birthday today. So I enjoyed watching that thoroughly. I enjoyed LSU taking 11-14, and Scooter's comment right off the bat. I think he was trying to throw a little bit of shade because last week the big boogaboo for them was that they didn't call a spy on Milroe. So I wasn't nuts over that question, and he asked it in a weird way, and it kind of pissed off Brian Kelly. Of course, we got in the press box and heard him talking with all his buddies about it. Man, was it my accent or whatever? Kind of a funny moment there.
Riley, thank you for that super chat, big time.
Thank you.
All right, you know what time it is. Let's hear from the official lawyer of TigerBait.com.
Kenny Haynes is a proud 1989 graduate of LSU Law School with a passion for justice. Kenny stands out as the only lawyer in the state, board certified in both appellate practice and family law. Drawing from 34 years of trial experience, Kenny has navigated the most complex aspects of real people's lives. If you need help in Northwest Louisiana with a family issue, legal issue, or a highly skilled trial attorney, call Kenny 318-222-2100. And speaking of winning, Kenny would like to recognize our 2023 national champions and congratulate coaches Kim Mulkey and Jay Johnson. Go Tigers!
And of course, Kenny is the unofficial attorney, a lawyer for TigerBait.com, and he deserves the right to think most clearly for a paying client. And nobody better in North Louisiana. If you have any legal needs, absolutely give him a call. And Koala Installation. Folks, the team of Koala Installation of Baton Rouge are your residential and commercial energy efficiency experts. The approaches Koala provides not only help you reduce energy bills and maintain a more comfortable living environment, but can also help reduce airborne allergens, water condensation issues, wear and tear on your HVAC system, and even lengthen the life of your roof shingles. Tim DeSales and his team at Koala provide existing homeowners with a doctor's diagnosis of your home's energy efficiency and can offer several strategies to help you stay more comfortable and save money on energy bills all year long. Koala has the capacity to tackle large spray foam projects and new home construction while being available to help everyday homeowners get some relief from South Louisiana's extreme weather. As an added bonus, most of Koala's projects qualify for federal income tax credits. Give Koala a call today, 225-457-1001 to schedule your free energy efficiency assessment. And please tell them that you heard them about TigerBait. And if you do, they're going to give you 7% off on your first project. And again, I've used them here in my house, and unbelievable work. And they go above and beyond, and nobody's better for your installation needs. All right, let's get to some more comments. Kent Jones, I just can't help but think we're not starting the best players at every defensive position, and I just don't understand it. Look, nobody wants to stop offenses more than Brian Kelly and his staff. I don't think they're purposely starting guys that are not as good as other guys. But there are some times where we've said for weeks, where is Wes Weeks? it's just so patchwork right
Whit
now.
Weeks. Yeah, Whit Weeks is the one because Wes Weeks played tonight. Actually, he got subbed in late. I think they put the wrong Weeks brother in there. Yeah, Whit Weeks is the low hanging fruit there, but there's certainly some other players that people are pulling out, namely Deshaun Womack, who played one snap last week, and of course he got caught inside. But you know, my thing is that it seems like the freshmen have higher consequences to pay for making rookie mistakes than the veteran players for making rookie mistakes, because it's not like the defensive ends are playing perfectly right now like the veteran guys out there.
Guy Brooks, Mike and Preston, the defense is god awful, but the offense is dynamic. Jayden Daniels should be the favorite for the Heisman.
Absolutely.
I agree.
I concur.
He's just something else, man. And I say it almost every week. I think he's going to be a huge LSU ambassador post LSU career. And make no mistake, the recruits that were there tonight were very wide-eyed, particularly offensive players.
Yep.
And even though he's not going to be the quarterback that is going to be there when they get to LSU, they're showing them what this offense can do with Den Brock and Joe Sloan. I saw Colin Hurley in the back of the end zone tonight. Had a different color dye in his hair.
He had like yellow and orange hair. It was pretty wild.
Yeah.
And he's got an impressive afro, man. It is. Whew.
Those recruits were excited and couldn't wait to get in the locker room to be there with all the excitement, and an awesome crowd tonight. Awesome weather. Perfect football weather, mid-60s with a little bit of a breeze, and people were treated. It was overcast all day. Everybody was wondering if it was going to rain, and it was beautiful. So let me see monumental night from Jayden Daniels, one that you're never going to forget if you were there.
Let me touch on the recruits real quick. The quarterback recruits, considering LSU, think Bryce Underwood, right? He got to watch. Most people consider LSU and Michigan the two front runners, right? He got to watch Michigan's quarterback go 7 for 8 for 60 yards. And he got to watch Jayden Daniels go off for 606 yards. Jayden Daniels had 10 times the yards on total offense than JJ McCarthy had passing. Okay? 10 times. That is unfreaking believable. You best believe recruits liked what they saw out of LSU tonight.
American Patriot with a super chat. Thank you again. He says Harold Perkins needs to chill. He taunts way too often. Absolutely. I watched him come off the field after one of them, and BK was chewing on him, and he was trying to avoid BK. And BK walked, chased after him on the sideline and kept getting after him. And I tell you what, Jacobian Guillory has a temper, and it cost LSU tonight. But I will say this: a lot of it was LSU retaliating, and a lot of what Florida was doing.
Got really chippy early on. Now it slowed down. Speaking of taunting, how do you like LSU giving the championship rings to the baseball team in front of Florida? That had to be a shot, right? I mean,
it was.
That was pretty funny. And you know what else I liked? I also liked that you brought in the 2003 championship team, who the only team they lost to was Florida. And
didn't Florida do that one year to LSU when they won their national championship in baseball?
In 2017. Yeah, I'm trying to think. That would have been 2018. The football season, right?
And didn't the Gator baseball team do the same to LSU?
I'm almost certain they did.
Yeah, there you go.
That would have been in Florida. The Joe Burrow throwing a pick six there at the end year.
Yeah, Harlan Berry was there. There was a great list. We have the full list up on TigerBait, and there's some more that we got to add. We're gonna be reaching out to them tomorrow. Obviously, a late night tonight. You got LSU, ULL, and fall baseball tomorrow at the box. If the weather is as great as it was today, I think they're going to have a nice crowd for that one. And then you got the LSU women's basketball team at 2:00, or was it 2 or 2:30? So a lot going on this weekend, to say the least. And plus, we're going to try and get to all the recruits. So After the show, we've got Brian Kelly's presser. We've got Jayden Daniels' presser, and thanks to LSU Sports Information for putting Jayden Daniels at the podium versus sliding the podium out and us all gang rushing him against a wall. I wish they'd do that every week, regardless of a top performance. But he was really good tonight. He's just like you said earlier. He's such a likable kid.
Oh man, so humble and down to earth. And I've had this opinion of him since the very first game. The first time I interviewed him was after the Florida State game. And man, such a good kid. I mean, it's hard not to like him.
Yeah, so sweet for LSU, for Jayden Daniels to do that versus Florida. I haven't heard Mason Smith's name called in a while. He is a bust as American Patriot.
I think I saw he has 6 tackles this year. 6. And he's been on the field almost every single snap.
I like to see him work on it. I like to see him work on the offensive line.
Damn.
But there's no room on LSU's offensive line.
Yeah, you've got 5-star kids can't even get in the game.
Mm-hmm.
Which will be interesting to see by the way, what happens with Lance Hurd next year. Do they slide
absolutely
him
fresh Kroger pineapple? I like that.
Like
Napier knew exactly what his guys were doing tonight. It starts at the top. Absolutely, you could see it. That was all by design. The way their staff and all of them were coming out on the field after big plays. I mean, they were getting out on the field so far onto the field. They were at midfield a lot of the times. Jeremy Franks, Mike and Preston, do you think we have a great chance to make a New Year's Six bowl?
It's definitely not great.
Yeah.
I don't even know if it's possible, actually, because just look at what's going on in the conference. You've got Missouri, who's going to go 10-2. You've got Ole Miss, who's probably going to finish 10-2 and beat you head to head. You're going to have Alabama in the SEC championship, which they secured today. They're going to go to the SEC championship. They're going to finish. They're going 11-1 regular season, and they're going to go 11-2. Georgia will, beat Alabama in all likelihood, and then there's only one team in the SEC in the playoffs, and that doesn't even take 2 spots away. You would have to have Alabama upset Georgia, and then they both make it to the playoff to open up a second spot in the New Year's Six. And then you've got 3 teams ahead of you after Georgia. So at best, you're the 5th highest bid in the SEC right now. I really think you're on a crash course for the Citrus Bowl again.
I don't think you're on the Citrus Bowl. That's not going to happen.
You think it's even lower than that?
Well, it's not. It has. I don't think it has anything to do with low. It has to do with how often LSU's been to Orlando.
Man. 3 times
in
365 days. That would be brutal.
Just so you know, these are the bowl tie-ins after the semifinal CFP. Orange Bowl is next after that. The Citrus Bowl, AutoZone Liberty Bowl, ReliQuest Bowl versus Big Ten or ACC, the SRS Distribution Las Vegas Bowl, Tax Act Texas Bowl, which I think that might be likely.
That's not and look, for as low down that is on the totem pole, that's a fun bowl game. I went that one in 2015.
If you're going to finish at 9-3 or 8-4, it's really about where have you been, geography, where do you most likely to send the most fans? I think they're going to be in the Texas Bowl. Tax Slayer Gator Bowl's next after that, and the TransPerfect Music City Bowl. And then the second tier, even lower than that, if the SEC is just loaded down with bowl eligible teams, Ticket Smarter Birmingham Bowl and the Union Home Mortgage Gasparilla Bowl. Yeah. So that's your rundown. I would think, and look, you're Las Vegas, you're opening next season. maybe ReliaQuest, but I think it's going to be the Texas Bowl. I honestly do. We'll see.
Regardless, whatever bowl game gets LSU, and now LSU might get some undeserved love for the bowl selection simply for the matter of fact of it's very possible that LSU will have the Heisman winner. And quite frankly, this is a fun team to watch. It's fun to watch because they give up a lot of points. They score a lot of points. Any bowl game is going to be nuts to get LSU.
American Patriot in another super chat. He says, "How many recruits are the game?" I don't have a total. I'm going to guess I'm a ballpark at 35 to 50. And not all of them, are kids that are offered. You have kids that come that have an offer, and then they have one or two teammates that come with them that are maybe prospects, but not one that LSU's recruiting. But you do count those. But it was a really nice group, and we've got the main guys on there, and I got a few other I need to add. Like we didn't have JD LaFleur on our list; he was there and looking really good. So there. Let's see. Dwayne D. They'll force an LSU versus Notre Dame matchup.
It'd be fun to watch.
That'd be very interesting, wouldn't it?
Mm-hmm. A lot of smack talk would be going down on that one.
You can do another freak show with your guy.
Yeah. I saw a tweet he put out tonight from the Florida State game where he says, "Oh, look, Jayden Daniels has regressed as a quarterback. I wonder where I've seen that from before with Brian Kelly." And it's like, yeah, what a regression. 4,000 freaking yards. You dodo.
Brian Smith, LSU have the best O-line next year, hands down.
Going to be good.
Absolutely.
Who are they going to lose on the offensive line? I'm trying to think. Probably, well, you're going to lose Turner, right? And then trying to think the status of your guards there.
I think that's it, Preston.
Is that it? I'm trying to think here.
Unless I'm missing somebody.
Dellinger, he should be coming back. I mean, look, you might only have one spot. Maybe Lance Hurd needs to learn how to snap the ball next year.
All right, you want to talk about Spectre Sports art?
Yeah, sure thing, guys. As y'all see the piece behind me, this is the Joe Burrow piece, but Spectre has really added a bunch of pieces to his collection. He got famous for the Joe Burrow piece, but like this 7 piece for Dylan Cruz, of course, they celebrated the baseball championship tonight. That one's really been taken off as well. So the thing is about Spectre art, it's guaranteed to catch the eye of any Tiger fans. It's flashy. It just pops off the wall. Going to catch their eyes every single time. The details are really going to be what hold their attention, though. Things like, the note at the bottom of Joe Burrow's feet, "You're not good enough." That shows to, how he had to, bounce back from being transferred from Ohio State, not getting offers he wanted, to the puzzle piece on Dylan Cruz's sleeve as an ode to his work with the Cruz Crews, helping disabled children go to the games. Guys, it's spot on every time. So this Joe Burrow piece has been followed up by 4 incredible pieces, including the Burrow and Coach O one, Tiger Stadium, which you see behind Mike's head there, the 7 for Cruz, and even a Drew Brees piece. It's all available. You see the link right behind me, spectresportsart.com/the Bayou. You can go check out all of those pieces right now. Artwork is available in quality prints and canvases in any size to fit any room or any budget. Art is straight from the box to your wall. Everything you need, ready to roll. Guys, the coolest thing I always find about this artwork is, the athletes themselves actually have these artwork. In fact, I'm going to show this little graphic here. As you can see in the top right-hand corner, there's Jordan Spectre giving the artwork to Dylan Cruz. This hangs in his man cave. I've done interviews with Joe Burrow's parents where they have the Joe Burrow piece in their living room. That's always been the coolest thing about me. So get the artwork that the athletes themselves are getting. Visit the link in the description of this video or the link you see above my shoulder. Go check out with TigerBait 10 to get 10% off your promo order. That's our exclusive promo code, TigerBait 10.
Guys, super talented, and everybody who comes into my office and looks at them is just everybody's wanting to know if they could buy them at the end of the football season. We'll see. All right. Jeremy Franks, Mike, anything on the quarterback from Michigan? Well, we got Preston right here, and Preston's the one who's had the scoop, and he got the scoop weeks ago. I'm loving how some of the national networks are running headlines in the last 72 hours, which was about 10 days swimming in TigerBait's wake, thanks to Preston's reporting.
Yeah, I'll speak on this, and I haven't gotten an update since the story. I did try to talk to his dad a little bit and follow up. I haven't had a good chance. He's very busy. In fact, the interviews I've had to do are like at midnight or close to it. It's like 11:30 at night. I don't know what's going on there that they're so busy. But to the long story short of what I've gotten, I talked to his former coach, who he's probably closer with his former coach than his current coach, and his dad. He named LSU the front runner, the team to beat. That's in my story, available at tigerbait.com. If y'all want to check it out, it's $1 to give it a try. He raved about Coach Sloan and the job he's done recruiting. He mentioned the Michigan scandal going on. His father said, and there's probably more stuff that y'all haven't even heard of. So that's very significant because the coaches who are there impact our decision as to where we're going. So, reading between the lines, it really seems to me like while all this, Spygate stuff is up in the air, I don't see him making the decision to go to Michigan. His decision will be January 6th. I'd say the distant third for him is Colorado right now, and Colorado has a 2025 quarterback committed. Look,
If signing day was Wednesday, if the signing day was next Wednesday, it's LSU.
That's what I think. Now, signing day is not next Wednesday. Commitment day is January 6th. He's got to stay on board a full 11 months after that. So LSU cannot go out and shit the bed next year. Period. You got to put a competent offense back together for next year, or else, a quarterback of his profile can go literally anywhere he wants. So, yep, he's LSU's to lose. That's a big statement. And so is Harlem Berry, who was there tonight. He's LSU's to lose. LSU's the heavy front runner for him. That's the number one running back in the country. And of course, you've got DeCorian Moore already on board. He's the number one receiver in the country. So that would be a monster recruiting class. Oh, and Bryce Underwood, by the way, has called Harlem Berry's dad. That's in my story too. And they've talked about how special this LSU class could be with all of them coming on board.
It's going to be a big time.
There's some exciting stuff. Guys, I cannot recommend enough subscribing to tigerbait.com and going and giving that story a look. It was some really good. We've gotten over 15,000 people to look at it already. You should be next.
Silver Charm, how solid is that 5-star wide receiver from Texas, who you just mentioned, DeCorian Moore? I think he's really solid, but look, it's one of those things where he's going to be getting a lot of recruiting pressure for the next year. That's one that Texas is going to keep poking and trying to flip around. And so, but as of now, I think what a job LSU has done at Duncanville High School. Absolutely. No worries right now, but it's a long way, but now between now and December of 2024. All right. Big Cojones Kel says he's one of those 15,000 people. Absolutely. You got thank you for that, Big Cojones. $1, you can try us out 7 days. You get our text alerts, our newsletters. I'm on the board day and night, and so we've got a lot for you in the premium side of tigerbait.com. Lance Hurd would be a really tall center. Yes, he would. 53449.
Ethan Posick. By the way, Ethan Posick is still playing center to this day. All 6'6" of him.
Tom Wood brings up something that I've had conversations with a lot of people with this week. If you go 9-3 and you're playing in a Texas Bowl and you wonder about opt-out, I talked to a guy today who's an old timer and You know, he's like that. If I'm Jayden Daniels' parent, I'm telling him to opt out and not play in a bowl game if it's a Texas Bowl type of thing. And so we're going to see some of that. And if that does happen, I can understand it. But you can also turn that into a positive, and you're going to get a good idea of what you've got in Garrett Nussmeier.
That would really suck. It would really suck. The one thing Jayden would be playing for, the Heisman would be done already. He would be playing to set some records.
I could see him playing though. Just the competitor in him.
Yeah.
I could see him going a different route and shocking some people.
The other thing worth noting, there's draft stock to be earned in a bowl game. Now, not a ton because obviously the film is about as A+ as you can get at this point for Jayden, but we're not talking about a guy who's going to be a surefire lock first round
Preston,
pick.
if he plays the way he does in the remaining games on the regular season, and he wins the Heisman, if he opts out of a bowl game, that is going to have no effect on him in the NFL.
I mean, you don't think there's any chance it's not that it would have no effect. You don't think there's a chance he could increase his draft stock even more with a bowl game?
I don't think so.
Yeah. I mean, you could be right, but I'm just throwing out that it's
and by the way, you bring up draft stock. I'm still waiting to see. Maybe I missed it. Where are the updated draft boards? I'd like to really know where he's at.
Yeah, the latest ones I've seen have been second round, early third, right?
Well, he's a steal.
I do not believe there's any chance he makes it out of the second round. In fact, if he makes it out of the second round, I'm marching down to New Orleans and I'm giving Dennis Allen a piece of my mind because, my God, a second rounder, you get that kid? Are you serious?
If he makes it out of the first round, if he's there in the second and third rounds, somebody's getting a steal.
Hey, I'm not debating you. I'm just telling you what is the grades out there. We'll see. And I think what's going to hurt his draft stock as an NFL prospect, he's unorthodox, right? He throws a little off balance. You know, he runs a lot, which, you know, used to be more frowned upon, but now it's definitely more accepted. You look at your top 10 quarterbacks in the NFL, almost all of them are a threat to run. It is a strong draft class, though. There's no doubt about that. Y'all hit that like button.
Who in the draft class at quarterback do they think is going to go higher than Jayden Daniels?
Well, Drake May, for one, Caleb Williams for two. I don't think Caleb Williams is getting past the first pick. And I think Drake May is almost a lock for number two.
But it could be where you've got how many quarterbacks that could actually be first round draft picks. There's no quota or maximum in a position that can go in the first round.
Well, and looking at the quarterbacks across the league this year, I'll say this. There's a lot more teams than you typically would see who could arguably need a quarterback. You know, as we're moving into that Prost, Brady, Manning, Breeze, post-Rodgers era of quarterbacks where you just had so many surefire franchise guys across the league, and now you're working on replacing them all. A lot of guys aren't sticking. You're getting a lot of guys like, Kyler Murray at Arizona, or, you get guys like the kid for Chicago, Justin Fields, where it's like, we could go with him another year.
I sure would like to see Jayden Daniels in New Orleans.
Boy, me too, man. But look, you've got Drake May, Shedeur Sanders is another kid. They like a lot.
Shedeur Sanders is going to be a big time NFL player, I believe.
Yeah, and I'm looking at a CBS draft board right now. I don't know when this was updated, but they've got behind Shedeur, JJ McCarthy, Michael Penix, Bo Nix, Quinn Ewers, and then Jayden Daniels. I'd be shocked if Jayden.
No way Bo Nix or Ewers are better NFL players than Jayden Daniels.
I mean, I concur.
I don't see it.
Yeah, I concur. Now, Bo Nix has a bigger, stronger arm. I could see a team falling in love with that because you know how teams are. But I don't see that. And JJ McCarthy especially. I mean, did you see him today?
With what Jayden Daniels can do athletically, depending on the NFL team and their offensive coordinator. And
I could see why Caleb Williams, Drake May, Shador Sanders, Michael Penix, why you would want them over Jayden Daniels. I don't think Jayden Daniels will be lower than the 6th quarterback.
Silver Charm, can Scott go snag a cornerback coach with a healthy pipeline to jumpstart this secondary? I'll say this. If nobody falls off based on the current commitment list, and if they did make a move for a new cornerbacks coach, the new guy is going to look like a hero because of what's going to coming in. And we don't even know what's going to, what they might do in the portal as well.
It's a strong DB class, very strong DB class. Love Juwan Johnson out of LCA. A lot of those kids.
Sean McBride at safety, Rogers.
Joel Rogers.
You can hold on to Kai Bates.
And by the way, I like this freshman class on LSU's team, by the way. I just don't think they're quite ready yet. They need some time. I kind of wish they'd go ahead and give them some reps out there so that they can begin to prepare and actually build a competent defense for next year. But we'll see.
Y'all think BK will keep Matt House next season?
I think me and Mike are on different sides of the page here.
No, I'm not anymore. We might be on the same.
Oh, really?
The way I was thinking a month ago is not the same now.
Yeah.
It won't shock me if the whole defensive side of the ball gets cleaned out. I can also see a scenario where House stays, and look, we're hearing a lot of things about Jimmy Lindsey making great strides. I don't know. It's going to be very interesting.
He was there today.
The next 6 weeks are going to be very important to the future of the Brian Kelly era.
Definitely, because you don't have Jayden Daniels coming back. You're not going to hang 50 points a game next year. I don't care how good Nussmeier is. He's not going to be this good.
I could be wrong, but I also think there's some things that he's going to have answers for in December that you can't wait till after signing day, and then you can't wait until after the coaches convention and bowl games. I tend to think there might be some moves he's going to need to make, or it become known that he's made before Christmas.
Yep. Well, and then a big part of this is going to be keeping your offensive staff together, because with the season they just put together, you best believe some guys are going to be calling. Some guys are going to be impressed with Joe Sloan. Some guys are going to be impressed with Mike Denbrock. And, do those guys stick around? I think Denbrock is in a position of having a lot of loyalty to Brian Kelly based on their history together. So, does he have aspirations to be, a group of 5 head coach or something like that? I don't know. Is he comfortable here? We'll see.
Guys, if you had too much to drink tonight, partying a little bit much after this LSU Florida win, Drip IV is now open on weekends. They'll be open tomorrow. You can go over there and get an IV drip to get rehydrated. If you got a hangover, they've got everything you need right there. And of course, right next to Sushiyama and Iverstein and Perkins Crossing on the corner of Perkins and Essen, and also in Lafayette, Cordoba off Ambassador, the First Medical Office building on the right. But what's really big right now, beyond what they do with Drip IV and other aesthetic services, is semaglutide. So if you've been struggling to lose weight, maybe you've heard about weight loss injections from a friend or family member, this is your sign to check it out. Drip IV offers medically assisted weight loss with semaglutide at both their Baton Rouge and Lafayette locations. Call them to book your consultation. They would love to speak with you. 225-256-3634, 8 to 4 Monday through Friday, and now on Saturdays and Sundays. And semaglutide is just taking the weight off everybody. And it's worth every penny to a lot of people. All right, let's get to some more comments here. Trell, if Drake May doesn't have the resume of competition to say he's better than Jayden Daniels.
Well, it's not whether he's a better college player now. It's whether or not the NFL teams like his stuff. A lot more goes into it than just production and performance. I'm not saying Drake May deserves to win the Heisman over Jayden Daniels. I mean, I think Jayden Daniels is the best college football player, period.
Like I say, one mistake BK made was letting Baker leave. The job he's done at Missouri is amazing. Coach Baker is a fantastic coach. He's a super guy. Look, it's just one of those things when you bring in a guy like Brian Kelly and at LSU, where you had basically in the span of 3 coaching staffs, from Saban to Miles to Orgeron, Miles kept a lot of Saban people. And when I say people, I'm not just talking about position coaches, personnel inside the building. And of course, Tommy Moffitt was a constant through all 3. It got to the point at LSU, particularly with the lawsuits and the Title IX and all that stuff, where because there was a whole lot of, and when Orgeron got hired, it was basically to maintain, and he kept so many guys. It got to the point where the next guy really needed a clean house, and you couldn't expect a guy like Brian Kelly to keep, half of Orgeron's staff. That just did not make sense. And we can have debates about who he should have kept. I mean, I thought he should have kept me. The one I thought more than anybody was McMahon for special teams. But yeah. Riley Ortego with a super chat. I think BK made some mistakes this offseason that he will learn from, like timing and not waiting to make decisions. He's not stubborn and will learn. Yeah, I don't see anything stubborn about him. And he's not going to ever have a Cam Cameron guy that if that's going to cost him some wins, the guy's going regardless if he was best man in his wedding.
I mean, Brian Polian was his right-hand man. He was the one guy he brought from Notre Dame with him. He's the one guy. He was the first coach he brought in. And, special teams didn't cut it last year, and he cut ties very quickly. So I think, and we've seen at Notre Dame, he'll make adjustments when needed. So we'll see.
All right, guys. Thanks to all of you for tuning in. We had a big time show. Please like on your way out. Subscribe if you haven't already. Hit that notification bell. Press anything you want to add before we depart.
Nah, guys, I'm going to see y'all Monday night. Zach Nagy will join me as always. Cannot wait to tease him. Of course, he's a big Billy Napier guy, not because he wanted LSU to hire him, but he was a student at ULL, a student reporter, and got really close with Napier. So I hope the two got to rekindle tonight. So y'all come tune in then. It'll be a good show as always Monday night at 8 p.m. And then, of course, Mike and Buddy will be doing their. Are you going Wednesday night this week, or is there a basketball game?
I don't think there's anything conflicting. We'll be Wednesday night, 8 o'clock.
Yep. All right. So we'll see y'all then. Make sure to hit that like button, guys.
All right, guys. Good night. Thank y'all.